So I'm doing a leadership workshop for 50 high school students. It's mid-morning, and I'm mid-sentence when a cell phone ringer goes off. A grade 11 boy was the culprit this time. I started to say, don't worry about it, I forget sometimes too, when I realized he's lifted the phone to his ear. Hello? I'm staring at him. The other 49 students are staring at him. He says a few more one-word answers, hangs up and looks at me. You answered it? Was the best I could think to say. What? Kid says. It was my mom. I got an email from a student in my university night class. Dear Joel, I know that you have quizzes in your class and attendance is required, but I have an issue. I have a dance class on Wednesday nights. Is there any way I can still get the attendance marks without having to come to class? How many people here own a cell phone? Good. Be honest, keep your hand up if you've ever upgraded before you really needed to. We're not alone. I did it just last month. What these three things have in common is that they all showcase an attitude of entitlement. I call it entitlementality. And that's what I want to talk about today. This is my grandpa. The older one. That's me cuddling with him there. And one of my favorite stories about my grandpa was about the year he got a shirt for Christmas. My grandpa opened the present and said, wow, a shirt, this is really nice. Although I don't know why anyone would get me a shirt. I already had a shirt. My dad always chuckles when he tells that story because he says for him that really represented what his father expected out of life. Now, I know that every single generation of parents in the past has accused their kids of being entitled, but I don't think this is a generational issue. I think it's a societal issue. Entitlementality is on the rise, and it's showing up in more ways than ever before. I'll give you an example. Some of you may have come across this book, The 8-Hour Diet. Apparently how it works is that you can eat whatever you want for an 8-hour window during the day. And then you fast for the other 16 hours. Now, I have no idea if this is an effective diet, but have a look at the subtitle. Watch the pounds disappear without watching what you eat. There's something attractive about easy wins, isn't there? A friend's uncle was telling me he was trying hard to lose some extra weight. He said, I've tried literally everything to lose it, short of diet and exercise. You know? It's not just losing weight, though. It's toning up, too. A quick Google search will confirm the demand for no-sweat workouts. And if totally effortless exercise is still too much for you, you can, for just $35 spent from the comfort of your own chair, go on eBay and order one of these nifty vibrating belts. Without ever having to leave that chair, it will jiggle your abs for you. We need to get better at recognizing entitlementality. It can show up in a number of forms, and I'll share three of them today. The first form of entitlementality looks like believing that my needs are more important than everyone else's. I mean, how much of what we buy, that's a cell phone. That is awesome. Go ahead, answer it. How much of what we buy every day comes at the expense of someone else? And I mean, sure, we might know about factories collapsing in Bangladesh or hazardous electronics recycling in China, but there's no easy alternatives, so most of us, myself included, just keep buying. Now, how do we justify it? Well, I think it's related to this, what I call the L'Oreal syndrome, because I'm worth it. This ad has spawned a bunch of spoofs, actually, including my favorite, L'Oreal. But somewhere along the line, I'm worth it, which at least implies effort, morphed into I deserve it. It highlights one of the societal problems of entitlementality, in fact, which is that it tends to produce thoughtless consumers rather than global citizens. Of course, we all want factories to be safer, but it seems we want more for stuff to be cheap and easy to get and easy to get rid of. The second form of entitlementality looks like expecting life to happen on my schedule. People hate waiting for everything from delayed flights to text messages. And it's not just youth, right? Remember the kid who answered the phone in class? It was his mom who called. I can just imagine the teacher confronting a parent about it. You called your son during my class? What? She'd say, I needed to ask him a question. We even expect food to be faster and on demand. So we've tinkered with the soil and the seeds and the foods themselves so we can eat more junk more often with fewer consequences. We want to have our low-fat, high-fiber, omega-3 enriched triple chocolate cake. And eat it too, so to speak. And the third form of entitlementality looks like believing that my past success should guarantee my future success. Students, when they earn degrees, want jobs. Many feel entitled to great jobs right out of university, often in management positions. And statistics show that they expect higher salaries than what are realistic. It reminds me, I saw one of those great demotivational posters recently. It said, potential. Not everyone gets to be an astronaut when they grow up. And never mind the job market or the looming global financial debts. Most people deep down really expect and believe that the stock market and housing prices should go up. It went up before. We deserve it. I sort of define entitlementality as people expecting exceptional results for minimal efforts. People want shortcuts, you know. I teach at McMaster University, a fourth-year engineering course on sustainability and ethics and social responsibility. It's sort of the non-technical course in the curriculum. My secret mission to try to turn engineers into real people. And I teach incredibly smart students, good students, but in spite of that, many are still slow to hand in work, but quick to challenge low grades. Now, I try to be a great teacher, an engaging teacher. I ask provocative questions. I try to tell riveting stories. I even juggle. I will literally set fire to things at the front of the room, trying to engage my students in learning. But I feel more and more that unless I'm just plain entertaining, students are quick to take their attention elsewhere. By the way, airport security does not think that trick is funny. It's like students are saying, give me a great education, but don't make it too much work. And this attitude actually blends into the workforce as well. One of the economic problems of entitlementality is that it stifles innovation. See, when people expect others to do their work for them, they're obviously less likely to take risks and do the type of hard work that will keep our economies competitive. One thing that seems a little ironic is that for most people who seem to suffer from the woes of entitlementality, life is good, peaceful, privileged. My dad was born in 1950. He told me when he was growing up, one of the major concerns through his high school years was the imminent threat of nuclear war. One of my major concerns is that the touch screen on my 2-year-old cell phone just isn't responding like it used to. And my noise-canceling headphones get hot on my ears after an hour or so, you know. And the battery on my smart key fob died, so I have to manually lock and unlock my Prius every single time I get in and out. Seriously, it's awful. See, the reality is life is pretty good. And when life is good, we expect life to be great. And since I didn't have to do anything for life to be good, why should I have to do anything for life to be great? Entitlementality is all about unreasonably high expectations. And on a personal level, it's not making us any happier. In fact, it's doing the opposite. Example, online dating. Now, I know lots of people for whom online dating has been hugely successful. I'm not knocking it. But the danger of online dating is that because there are so many potential partners, our expectations become impossibly high. We turn away a wonderful partner with the hope that the next match will be that much closer to perfect. A side story, I know a guy who got divorced and decided to try online dating. But I saw him after a month or so and asked how it was going. He said, I wasn't doing that anymore. Apparently, they'd matched him up with his ex-wife. One of the reasons our expectations are high is because we live in the age of opportunity. Nearly anyone can become a YouTube sensation, either with a really great voice or a really funny cat video. But we've all been told that we can be anything we want to be. Start the next great company. Change the world. And those are great things. Where the expectations become unreasonable, though, is when we start to think that all that good stuff happens for free, without any, as my grandfather would have said, good old-fashioned hard work. Entitlementality exists and is not good for us. It makes us selfish, lazy, and unhappy. So what do we do about this? Well, I have 3 quick ideas to share, antidotes to entitlementality, in a sense. 1, promote creativity. When we create something new, we learn that our ideas live and die by our own efforts. It's our actions that matter. An inventor's road to success is littered with obstacles. And it takes enough hard work and perseverance to navigate that there's just not time for entitlement. But creativity is not just for inventors or artists or musicians. We should all be doing something creative every day. Creativity creates challenge, and challenge builds character. Second idea, practice gratitude. Gratitude is the opposite of entitlementality. Entitlementality makes us expect the world while sitting on the couch. Gratitude, on the other hand, allows us to sit on the couch and be happy we have a soft place to rest. A dose of gratitude will act as a vaccination against entitlement. And it'll give you a happiness top-up to boot. In fact, scientifically proven, start a gratitude journal, you'll increase your happiness. Yeah? Write down 3 to 5 things that you feel thankful for. They don't even have to be big. Saturdays, broccoli. The gregarious sense of humor of airport security. Third antidote to entitlementality. Connect to nature. Seriously, go outside and play. Play in the dirt. Start a fire. Yeah. Not here. I don't have any research on this, but I'd be willing to bet that farmers are some of the least entitled people out there. See, farmers understand that you can't cheat nature. If you don't get the seeds in the ground in the spring, you won't have crops to harvest in the fall. We should connect to nature because it teaches us patience and humility. I can't force my raspberries to grow any faster. And if the birds get at them before I do, I can get upset, but it doesn't change anything. On a video game, I can just press reset, and everything is fixed. But in the game of real life, I'm not the most important character, and I don't have complete control like that. Now, some people may be thinking that maybe we are the most important character in the story of planet Earth. I mean, we are the most powerful species on the planet, so maybe we're entitled to our entitlementality. That's an interesting thought, huh? Does having lots of power justify our entitlementality? Maybe I can bring this to a close with one more story. Back in 1946, some ambitious Argentinians brought down 25 pairs of Canadian beavers in an effort to start a fur trading industry. Since then, those 50 beavers have been breeding like rabbits because there are now an estimated 200,000 of them, craftily flooding and deforesting Tierra del Fuego National Park at the southern tip of Argentina, and threatening to push up into Chile and the Patagonia. It's a problem, actually, because in that area, there are no wolves or bears or anything with more power. So they destroy perfectly good farmland, consume food and resources much faster than nature can resupply them, and eventually destroy their own ecosystems. What fools. Some of you are already starting to see the metaphor. Beavers, it seems, have their own case of entitlementality. Maybe it's a hardwired animal instinct for survival. Or maybe they're just short-sighted. Maybe the beavers are simply incapable of comprehending their reality. But thankfully, that's one thing that makes us humans different. Humans, with our great big brains, can see where this path leads. There's still time for us to recognize ourselves in the story of the entitled beavers. The human consciousness is changing. We're having different conversations, choosing different lifestyles. If we can learn to step out of our entitlementality, we'll not only help ensure our long-term economic prosperity and planetary survival, but we'll realize that happiness doesn't come from continually expecting more. Instead, we'll find the joy in exercising our creativity, contributing to the world, and appreciating the journey as we go.